Kenya has witnessed a lot of excitement in the last few days. There are some 3 M's that has maddened many Kenyans. These 3 M's are Murkomen, Mbuvi, and Mutula. They have made Kenyans talking. Look at what they are saying. Kenyans slam Senators Murkomen, Mutula for defending Songo. Look, the public has a right to question the senator's decision to defend the governor. This is in the public domain. This is not Buisa talking from his head. Murkomen, Mutula fight off prejudice claims. Kenyans are talking about Mutula, about Murkomen. But indeed, not just the public. A fellow senator found fault with the senators, that means Mutula and Murkomen, representing Governor Songo. So the public, the senators, they are talking about it. That is Senator Sakacha. And what does he say? He's saying, actually blasts Murkomen and Mutula for defending Songo in the Craft case. And he says, the two were siding with corrupt people who are undermining devolution. Is it a case of brother rising against brother, senator against senator? Of course, Sakacha goes on to say, it is a complete conflict of interest. You cannot be a senator to protect county funds from corrupt and then defend a case against the corrupt that you are actually protecting. So, why get mad with the senators? Why get mad with senators defending Governor Songo? Yes, some people are seeing doublespeak by the 2 senators. Let me look at M1, Mutula. Look at a tweet that Mutula Kilonzo Jr. recently tweeted somewhere in September. And he says, this is what we go through every day as we legislate for more resources. A good chunk is ending up buying hotels, mansions, big cars, and other primitive signs of opulence. The stealing is so profound, says Mutula. They are vomiting on our shoes. Very strong words. The war on corruption in our counties must be won, or we forget about devolution. Very strong word from Mutula Kilonzo against counties, corruption in counties. Mutula Kilonzo is also quoted to have said, look, Senator Mutula Kilonzo Jr., governors cannot run away from questions on public funds as they chair county executive committees. Here is Mutula Kilonzo talking about governors being accountable for funds in their counties. Of course, Kilonzo sits in the powerful Senate Budget and Finance Committee that allocates money to counties and has been a strong defender of counties, demanding accountability at all levels. That is the spirit of Mutula Kilonzo. Now, M2, Murkomen. Murkomen was quoted by the Sunday Nation in March this year, 2019. He says, I champion the government's agenda in the Senate, as well as representation of interest of counties, representation of the people, exercising oversight, among other functions. Yes, he says he defends, is an anti-corruption person, particularly in the counties. Then there was a dialogue between Murkomen and Governor Mutua of Machakos. Look at what Murkomen said, accusing Governor Mutua of Machakos. You are only surviving because of political gymnastics. If ESCC exercise its independence under the new management, you will never ever talk again. You are dubiously cleared. You are a governor of Vibindire and Senemare. You are worse than the corporate squad you used to act for. That is Murkomen tweeting Governor Mutua of Machakos. Those words tell us that he's really a defender of accountability in counties. And now the M3 Mbuvi. There we see DPPP Haji blows a whistle on Mbuvi, on Governor Songo. He thinks Governor Songo is not accounting for the funds in the county. He's misappropriating, is corrupt. It's like the two governors, the two senators, would have taken that as information from a whistleblower and probably started investigating it. So our expectations, many people's expectations, were that the senators would have been appalled by the alleged Songo ripoff, and then they would have stood aside and prayed that justice be done. So Wanjiku wonders, is it right for people charged with overseeing county resources to defend those accused of plundering the same resources? This is the question that is on the lips of a few people. The same senators who purport to defend corruption, who point accusing fingers at some, they say Mutua, now come up to defend somebody suspected of corruption in the county. So this 3M case, that is the Murkomen, Mbuvi, and Mutula case, reminds me of the term ambulance chasers, or the same lawyers. It has been leveled against the learned friends, the lawyers, ambulance chasers. There, yeah, you can see ambulance chasing. So lawyers have been tainted in that. It's not just in Kenya. There was even the Obamacare, and the ambulance chasing was mentioned out there. So who are ambulance chasers? These are lawyers. This is the East African described them. The East African paper says, ambulance chasing. Lawyers are vultures whose specialty is to pocket insurance compensation for accident victims. They file claims without the knowledge of the victims. They file claims without the knowledge of the victims. And when insurance companies pay, the lawyers never pass the money to the victims or their next of kin in event of death. Lawyers are being tainted. It's like they focus on the money, not necessarily on anything else. Now, I look at those pictures. I look at that, and what do I see? Yes, some look at this picture and see a battery of lawyers negotiating payments from the boss. That's the imagination. The boss is there. The boss with the money. And the lawyers are there. 12 of them. Yes, they are defending, they want to defend a client. But look at that concept of ambulance chasers. Do we read anything in it? Let's look at this press reader, the Star. Look at that. Here is a lawyer, Kilifu Mbeta, Baktash Akasha, and Vijaygiri Koswan in Nyali. They cut a cake to celebrate the release of Akasha. Everybody knows now, when Akasha was taken to the US, we now know who Akasha was. Now, do you see any relationship here? Do I see anything here? Look at those heads surrounding that boss and look at this. So, this concept of ambulance chasing, might it have some? That is what a number of Kenyans are asking. Is it that we want to just defend a client, or is it that we are seeing money in it? So are we genuine in saying, I'm talking about the two senators, we started by them saying how they want corruption to be ended, how they want to fight corruption, how counties are being fleeced, and here they are now. A whistleblower has brought out something. Instead of trying to investigate it, you are defending it. So those pictures remind me of some jokes made about the learned friends. But are they really learned friends? Truth be told, from my point of view, lawyers must have the ability, uniqueness, or exclusivity to understand every legal issue of whatever nature that those in the legal profession are capable of. And that makes them qualify, as far as I'm concerned, to be called or to call themselves learned friends. Yes, some professions, my profession, for example, entrepreneurship. I know only entrepreneurship. I will tell you economics is not my profession. I tell you chemistry is not my profession. I don't know about it. But a lawyer looks like they know everything. They should defend. So really, I agree. They must learn. So I agree. They are learned friends. But then, learned friends aside, these are the jokes. Look at that joke. It's not mine. I picked it from the internet. A lady comes to see a patient, and he says, yes, I see your lawyer stopped by. But look at the messages on the balloons. Get well so that you can testify. Read between the lines. It's a joke, but get well enough so that you can testify. Where's the mind focusing? Then there's a joke. What's the difference between a lawyer and a liar? Well, it is said it's only in the pronunciation. One is a lawyer, another is a liar, pronunciation. But there's no difference between them. That's a joke. Another joke. What's the difference between a good lawyer and a bad lawyer? And the joke goes, a bad lawyer might let a case drag on for several years, But a good lawyer knows how to make it last even longer. I am hoping that Songo's case will not drag on forever. So we don't. But you see, we are now having good lawyers handling the case. Another joke. A 50-year-old lawyer who had been practicing since he was 25 died and arrived at the judgment. The lawyer said to St. Peter, "There must be some mistake. I am only 50 years old. That is far too young to die." Then St. Peter frowns and consults his book. Say, "That's funny. When we add up your billing records, you should be at least 83 by now." Listen to that. I am wondering how much Songo is going to pay our young lawyers. Finally, I'm just wondering, thinking aloud, should Songo be proven guilty? Should it be proven that he stole? Logically, what he is going to pay the lawyers will be part of the loot that he stole. Now, would those lawyers have handled stolen property? Well, I am not that learned to handle that. It's just my wild thinking. Now, if I had the powers, I would borrow from the BBI spirit, which proposes banning civil servants from practicing, from doing business because of the conflict of interest in matters procurement. I'll borrow from that and say, senators and MPs should choose between working for Wanjiku, being Wanjiku's employees, and a private practice. Choose between. To me, they should be mutually exclusive. You can't be employed by Wanjiku. You are getting the salary from Wanjiku in terms of taxes. Wanjiku is being fleeced by a governor. And then you again come to defend the governor and again get paid by that governor. But as I said, if I had powers. So this is what a few people, some people are wondering about, including myself. I think that the senators would have stepped aside, would have excused themselves. After all, this is not the only case they can handle. There are many other cases they handle. So, much as they are doing their profession, but it cracks my mind that if it happens now to go back to the Senate, that they are now even discussing impeachment or discussing, that is probably the time they will excuse themselves. But then, to me, it will be wrong because they're supposed to serve Wanjiku that time, not serving an individual and serving themselves. Well, that's my 5 cents thinking. Thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching.